All right, so about a few years ago, I bought my first Airbnb just like everyone else. While Airbnb was all the craze, interest rates were low, prices were lower, people were traveling, and it was all great. But today, I wanted to get into why my property is currently in escrow and I'm looking to move my money elsewhere. For you who don't know, my name's Kyle Olson. I'm a real estate agent as well as a real estate investor, and it's true, I'm selling my first Airbnb property. And so last year in 2022, the property did $70,000 in gross income from Airbnb as well as VRBO. That's Airbnb. And just for context, I put 12% down on this property, and each month it has consistently spit out on average around $1,800 in positive cash flow. And some of you might be thinking, Kyle, why the hell would you sell a property that gives you $1,800 per month in positive cash flow and you see appreciation on it? Well, I'll let you know. But I want to give you more context. So this property is in Sequoia National Park, little town. There's about 12,000 people who live there, and about 1.2 million people visit Sequoia National Park every year on average, which is great, right? But here's the thing. With small towns that are outside of national parks, there's always going to be demand, which is so great. But with little housing, there comes more competition. And with no one able to really afford the locals to live in these places and they're getting kicked out, which is really sad, I believe there's going to be more and more regulation down the road with Airbnb. So, number one, in the future, I see more regulation happening with Airbnb. We're already seeing it in New York City and other cities. And so no one really wants to live next to a hotel. And I think it's going to get worse. So that's number one. Number two, the only demand is the national park. Do I think the national park's going to go away? Absolutely not. Do I think people are going to visit there every single year? Absolutely. I also think that my money might be more safe in an area where people are moving to because of jobs, in the living, the cost of living, the opportunity to do business, and income taxes. I think that as things get more expensive in this world, people are going to flock to states that have little to no income tax. For me personally, I'm thinking Florida. I might move my money there. Who knows? But number three, the reason I am selling this property is because I had the choice to compete with the other people in the area since Airbnb has gotten so competitive and put around $50,000 into the property to make it more desirable, more activities, modern, all that good stuff, and compete. And I just don't want to do that. And just like you, I know that over the past couple of years, you know that prices have gone bananas. So I'm taking my money and running. A lot of the things I'm hearing right now is, and seeing too, as a real estate agent, and that's what's causing prices to continue to rise, is the lack of inventory and sellers not wanting to sell their home. Well, I'm selling mine. I had a 3.25 interest rate. And some older people might see this and think I'm absolutely crazy for selling the house. But again, I want to be in a better location where there's more demand as well as more job opportunities. So I'm just changing my investment strategy. And I think that a lot of the times people get caught up in not changing what they want and going with their gut because they see so much noise out there in regards to keeping that interest rate or selling because you have so much equity instead of pulling a line of credit, yada, yada, yada. But I feel like it's the right choice. And let me know what you think in the comments, if it's a good or bad decision, but time will tell. We'll see what happens. But as far as the property goes, overall, it was a 46% cash on cash return. I more than doubled the money I put into it, which is great. And fingers crossed, I can put this out when it closes. It's in escrow right now, but I also think that Airbnb hasn't seen its downfall in a slow economic environment, which to me, I'm not willing to risk. And I know if I get less bookings and also have to put the money into it, it's not going to feel good. It's just not going to feel good. And also, doing renovations from afar is never fun either. It just adds more stress. And if someone, a local, wants to live there in the property, or another investor, and they want to take on that investment and make those, updates to the house, then that's great. There's opportunity costs there. And I think that with Airbnb going the way it is, not saying it's dying, it's slowing down, and I believe there's going to be more regulation. In the future, maybe I will have another property that I can keep on Airbnb, but some things I'm thinking about, especially due to a potential economic slowdown, doesn't mean that real estate prices have to come down, but as far as Airbnb goes, bookings might be a little slower, who knows? But I want to dabble in potentially the Section 8 route. Let me know in the comments if you know anything about purchasing houses and renting to Section 8. And the last and final thing is that I didn't scale in this area, so I did not want to pay a management company. Typically for Airbnbs, management companies charge anywhere between 15 and 20%. And after doing the math, I wouldn't be cash flowing a lot of money, although it would be less of a headache. The whole reason why I bought this property to begin with was to cash flow. And I don't really think there's much more appreciation. Of course, I can't tell the future and prices continue to climb, but in this specific area, every real estate market is cyclical. They're different than other ones. So I think in this specific area, prices might have topped, and I could be extremely wrong, but I feel more safe putting my money somewhere else. But anyways, let me know your thoughts on Airbnb and also the real estate market. Are you on the side that prices are going to come down, or are you on the side that prices are going to continue to rise due to lack of inventory? Thank you so much for watching. Please consider subscribing, and I'll see you in the next one.